Well, welcome to Bourbon Riders and our pick of a Yellowstone single barrel. Join us. Well, welcome to a special feature. This is actually a kind of a recreation of a barrel pick we did with Habit's Bottle Shop in Marietta for their Yellowstone single barrel. This was a little while back. In fact, the barrel is getting bottled now and should be here by mid-June. This is June 1st, so 2 or 3 weeks from now, our barrel pick should be at the store. So this is typical of what you would get in a tasting kit from a distillery if you were a bottle shop owner. It would come in usually a nice presentation package, and I've seen several different variations of this. It always comes, well, I say the ones I've seen, always comes with 3 bottles, and the bottles are all labeled, and usually they'll tell you from what barrel they came from. They may be stated when they were poured or when they were barreled, and they will give you things like proof and other information you need for writing up your tasting notes. And they will give you a booklet or a set of cards like this one here. This will actually, let's see if I can show you a little closer up, actually give you places for you to write your notes as you're tasting this. What barrel it is, what you thought, aroma, taste, finish. So you and your colleagues, the people that are there to pick a barrel, can choose one. So you get a tasting guide or tasting cards along with usually 3 samples. Sometimes you get glasses. This is really nice because they've got the mini Glencairns here with the limestone branch distillery etching on them. Other times you just get the bottles without glasses. So I thought this was a really nice tasting kit. And we're going to recreate what we did. And like I said, it was probably, I don't know, a month or more back that we actually did this tasting at Habit's with this exact kit. So what is left is what we didn't drink. And I'm going to go through them and we're going to taste one at a time. And I'm going to tell you what I think of them. And then I'll let you know which one we picked to be the barrel that will be bottled and show up at Habit's. So when we come back, we're going to get set up for this tasting of this fine Yellowstone single barrel. Okay, this particular bourbon is a rye bourbon, not a wheated bourbon. And they're all the same mash bill, but from different barrels. The mash bill was 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. Now, I like that because I'm not a big rye fan, but I do like the malted barley taste of what malted barley does for bourbon. So 12% malted barley, that's fairly high. You usually don't see the malted barley be more than the rye. So we're going to start off with a bottle from barrel 20287. I think it's sample 1 here. We'll double check that. I love the little glasses they give you with the limestone branch and their logo on it. Very nice. So let's just pour a little bit. And I was wrong about the how long ago we did this. We actually did this in late February. I didn't think it was that long ago. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun and drinking bourbon. So, sample number 1. A lot of traditional aromas going on there. Molasses, brown sugar. I do get a hint of rye spice, just a very small amount. Some vanilla and some baking spices, but it's kind of unusual that I pick up the rye with only 10%. Interesting. Well, let's see what the palate says. Cheers. Wow, that is a spice bomb. A lot of pepper right up front. I mean, like kind of black pepper. Very spicy. And obviously, it's not from the rye, so it's got to be the mash. But that is a spice bomb. Very flavorful. I would say moderately sweet, not real sweet. But that spice was the first thing that you hit. So I'm going to go here and make some notes, and we'll fast forward through this. Okay, you saw me writing really fast, and this is what you're supposed to do. You're really supposed to write down your experience. What are you getting from the aroma? What are you getting on taste? And then, of course, what I fail to talk about in a lot of my videos is finish. I would tell you that I'm getting some dry fruit, a little bit of oak, light oak, sweet oak, and some baking spices. It's not real long lasting, but it's pleasant. I wish it lasted a little longer. I wish I had a little bit more sweetness or a little more fruit coming across, but it is a pleasant finish. So that is barrel 20287. So now we're on to sample 2. And this is from barrel 21215, barreled on February 18th, 2019, so about the same age. I love these little media sample bottles. I'm always trying to get distilleries to send me media samples. You don't have to send me a whole bottle, hint, hint. I would love these little media samples just so we can get a good tasting. If we need to go back to it, there's something left, like we're doing today. So, sample number 2, barrel 21215. Now this one is a little lighter. Rather than the molasses brown sugar, to me it's more like a butterscotch or light caramel. Definitely a little lighter in the sweetness. Very pleasant. I think I actually like this aroma even better than sample 1. And I would tell you there's definitely some fruit going on it, but that butterscotch is what's prevalent. And I'm not picking up any rye aroma in this one. It's all butterscotch. Cheers. And that translates to the palate. It's still got a boatload of spice going on. There's still that pepper on the tip of the tongue. Not quite as prominent as was sample 1. This is definitely the sweeter of the two. And that butterscotch caramel, maybe with some medium to light fruit coming across. It's not quite as dark tasting as sample 1. It's just as rich on the palate, just as good a coating, but definitely the sweeter of the two. That is a nice bourbon. Wow. Let me write my notes while they're clear in my head. What I really love about this sample number 2 is the finish lasts longer, and I do get the sweetness in the finish that I was missing from sample 1. That sweetness is I'm still tasting it in my mouth. It's got a long finish, very light on the baking spices. That butterscotch caramel just stays with you. It's great. I would say it's fantastic on the finish. Wow, what a great job, Limestone Branch Distillery, you did on that sample number 2 Barrel 21 215. All right, we're going to take a break and cleanse the palate and come back for the last one. And then we're going to tell you what we think of all three, how they rank. So sample 3. Turn the page here. This is barrel 238.94. Oh, this was barreled much later. This is April 1st, 2019. All right, sample number 3. I remember when we actually did this that, well, I don't want to give away anything. I'd be giving it away if I tell you what's in my brain, which ain't much, I'd give away the winner. All right, sample number 3, barrel 23.894. Now this smells a lot more like sample 1. Traditional bourbon with a little bit of spice going on. And to me, the spice smells like rye spice. Now, it may not be rye, but it just smells that way. To me, it smells just like sample number 1 or sample number 2. You know, it got that butterscotch right on the nose, the old honker here. I don't really smell the butterscotch in this one. More traditional bourbon notes. Cheers. Well, that's interesting. Sample number 3 is halfway between sample number 1 and 2. It's not as peppery and bold as 1, and it's not as sweet as 2. Does that mean it's the best of all 3? There's a logo on the bottom. Okay, that's the Glencairn logo. That makes sense. Duh, Mike. I was looking at it going like, what is that on the bottom? That's the Glencairn logo. A real Glencairn. Don't accept substitutes. Let's take another sip. That is definitely between the 2. More spice going on than sample 2, but not as sweet as sample 2. And not as spicy, not as peppery as sample 1. Oh man, I can remember this being hard and us debating, and we had a group, and there's a video of it. I didn't take the video, but I remember us debating quite a bit over that, and like, wow, I was amazed that 3 barrels tasted so different, and that 3 is like right in the middle between 1 and 2. I'm going to take some more notes. We're going to fast forward, and we're going to pick Recreate. Or I'm going to tell you which one I like the best, and then hopefully it's the one we picked, right? Okay, I didn't talk about the finish, but to me the finish is almost exactly as sample 1. It faded fairly quickly. What I'm left with is nothing really memorable. Definitely not the same as number 2. Number 1 is the bold one. Number 2 is the sweet one. Number 3 is the balanced one. So, which one would you pick? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? For me, I love number 2. That butterscotch coming through and the right amount of baking spices. It's got the right sweetness level for me. And then that finish, nailed it. It could be the finish nailed it, actually gave it first place for me. Now, I don't remember an order of what our guys liked. I only remember what barrel or what sample we picked for our barrel for our collaboration with Habits Bottle Shop. And luckily for me, it was sample number 2. Good job, Limestone Branch Distillery. Wow. So our winner tonight is sample number 2, which happens to be the one we picked. Yay, team. So this is what it is like normally for a bottle shop to do a barrel pick. To pick a barrel, a bourbon or whiskey that they're going to put on the shelf in their store. And a lot of cases, they get the actual barrel. You ever wonder, what are they doing with these barrels? A lot of times, they get the barrel along with the cases, and it could be 20 cases, could be 40 cases, each case being 6 bottles usually. They get that barrel with it, and they'll put those bottles on top of that barrel top. And that's the reason they do it, and that's the reason they call it a barrel pick or store pick, because there's the barrel that it actually came out of. So, hope you learned a little something today about how stores mostly, not all the time, but mostly do their barrel picks just like we did ours tonight. So, please like this video, comment, and share. And if you've got questions about barrel picks, whether it be in a distillery or from a sample kit like that, let me know. I don't have all the answers, but I'll find out for you. So, as always, please drink responsibly, never drink and drive. And I'm going to enjoy more of this number 2. Cheers.